Welcome to the Jill on Money Show. It's Monday, January 27th. And ladies and gentlemen, welcome to your tax season for tax year 2024. Tax season opens today. You'll get all your documents hopefully in the next coming weeks and maybe even days. So remember, the earlier that you can get going on the process, the better for you. That would be great. And we will be putting up some posts about what you should be thinking about for tax season. And I have to get busy to write one. So at this moment, as we record this, I haven't written it yet, but I'm thinking about it. And thinking is just a few steps away from the actual doing, isn't it? Anyway, if you've got a tax question or if you've got any other financial question, all you need to do is go to our website, JillOnMoney.com. JillOnMoney.com. Click the Contact Us button. It's in the upper right-hand corner and write us a note. And if you think you're going to come on the program or you'd like to come on the program, check the box. Mark will do everything else. While you're on the website, sign up for the free weekly newsletter and check out all of the other content that lives there. We refresh it quite often. Okay, right now, let's go talk to Lynn, who's on the line from Los Angeles. Lynn, first and foremost, you okay?
Yes, we're doing well. We're doing well.
It's a big area, but so many people impacted. I'm sure that everybody in LA knows somebody who is impacted by this tragedy. So a lot of good thoughts sending out to you out there, and will obviously change your city for a long time. Are you a lifelong Los Angelino?
I am.
Wow.
Yes.
So this is pretty stunning for you. I mean, how does it feel?
Surreal.
Yeah. I know it's like I keep thinking about what it was like in New York after 9/11, and it was that same surreal feeling like, did that just happen? That did just happen. Oh my God, that just happened. So anyway, we're sending all of our good thoughts out to you and your friends out there. So tell us what brings you to us, since it is not wildfire relief. What's going on for you?
So I just sold my primary residence and really happy about that.
Mm-hmm.
And I have a good chunk of change in proceeds.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure what to do next. I'm not sure what my next step is. I'm renting. I just signed a 1-year lease, and I'm in a lovely rental right now. But I live in a high cost state to rent and a high cost state to purchase.
Yeah.
So I'm really not sure. I'm 54 years old.
Okay.
So when I look at the mortgage, rent versus buy calculators, since I may live, hopefully 30 more years.
God willing.
Yes. It seems to lean towards buying because of my timeline.
Mm-hmm.
But also the factors of where I live. And I don't want to leave my area. I have, lifelong family and friends here. So
okay. All right. Well, this is interesting. I mean, first of all, if you really want to stay there, there's going to be a number of issues that are now going to compound the questions that would have existed just, 2 months ago. Right. So let's start with a few facts. You said you're 54. Are you single, partnered, or married?
Partnered.
Okay. And partner and you live together?
Yes.
Okay. Got it. And are you both working?
Yes.
Okay. Do you combine your finances or not?
We do not.
Okay. So separate finances, but that means that you can defray some of the costs of the living expenses. Would the partner be in a place to be able to buy with you or not?
The plan we've talked about is, yes, us buying together and having a mortgage together, but I would more likely, I'm in a better position to put the down payment on a home.
Okay.
We're working on an agreement with a real estate attorney right now.
Okay.
All right. To just
I get
protect
that.
those funds.
Yep, I get that. That's smart. So right now, you sold your primary residence. What are the proceeds that are sitting in the bank account or investment account right now?
I came out with a little over $1 million with
That's
the sale.
a good number.
Yeah,
that's a real number. Wow.
It feels nice in my bank account right now.
It's so fun. Wow, that's just very warm and comforting to me. I know that. Gosh, I mean, especially right now, having some cash on hand is not a terrible thing. Are you still working, Lynn?
I am, yes.
And how much do you earn?
A little over 100,000 a year.
And partner earns how much?
Between 175.
Okay, so partner has like better cash flow, but you have more cash on hand.
Yes.
I get it now. Okay. And so if I were looking ahead and just thinking about buying, what would you have to pay? I mean, and now again, it's going to be much more difficult. We knew that the area already had a housing shortage and a real estate problem. And now with the fires, this is going to only be, sort of exacerbated. So what is it do you think you would need to purchase, like the amount of money that would get you into a house that or an apartment or co-op that you would like to live in?
The idea as of now would be to buy a fixer-upper, to buy
Mm.
a distressed property, but still that would probably still cost 1,200,000 to 1,400,000 or five.
Okay, 1.2 to 1.5. You have the $1 million in the proceeds that's just hanging out. What about other assets that you have?
Okay, I have 160 in my Roth.
Okay.
I have 18 in an IRA.
Okay.
I have a beneficiary IRA with $30,000. My brokerage total, including the proceeds,
Yep.
is 1930.
So you had 930 in the brokerage plus the
Yes.
$1 million
Yes.
of the proceeds. Okay.
Yes. And then I have about 75,000 cash on hand.
And what about in your like in your workplace? Do you have a workplace plan, or are you just on your 100,000 or so? Do you have any benefit available to you, or are you just
Nothing. I'm
funding your?
self-employed. I'm
Okay.
self-employed.
Okay. Got it. Partner. Does partner have some stability, even if not, the $2 million in a brokerage account, but some stability that would allow him or her to contribute to the down payment or not?
Honestly, they could, but I don't think it's the right choice for them
Okay.
because from their divorce, they kind of had to restart financially later in
Yeah.
life,
Yep.
and they're older than me, a little bit older, 6 years older. So I think having the retirement cash,
Is important.
is more important.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And no pension for partner?
No.
Okay. So as we look ahead, what do you think the time horizon is? Do you want to like pull the trigger and get this going as quickly as possible? How are you feeling about it?
I don't know. I'm a very flexible person.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
it's great. And it's also, um, I don't know, challenging because I could go a lot of ways. I mean,
But
because of the
not outside,
fire.
but not out of LA. You're not that flexible.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
the one. So that I just want to make sure we got that. So
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is the one absolute here. You say, I'm not leaving LA.
No,
Okay.
not at this point. No.
A lifelong Angelina deserves to stay. That's fine. That's totally fine. So, what prompted the sale of the primary residence anyway?
It was a condominium.
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was going to be very low maintenance. It
Mm-hmm.
seemed like a pretty new building. I thought it was just life was going to be easy, and it wasn't.
Mm-hmm.
It was a 4 unit building, and so there wasn't a lot of people to handle the workload, and I ended up doing a lot of it, and I just was not enjoying it at
So
all.
you are a handy gal, one would say, because you are
Yes.
willing to do the fixer upper and do the work. And so you'd move into this so-called fixer upper. It's very funny for people to hear this who are not in high cost of living areas where you'd have to, shell out the money, and you don't have to do this for a year because you just signed a 1-year lease. So you could
Or or
yes.
I could be doing it while I'm in the
Yeah.
rental
Yep. So are you
right now.
actively, have you been, I mean, this is crazy to say this, but have you actively been looking right now? Because I feel like the market is dislocated right now, but has it been? Maybe I'm wrong.
I was looking. I mean, I just moved on the second, so like
Oh
everything's
God.
super recent.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm still getting, my inbox. I'm still getting for my realtor. I'm still getting listings. I drive by things.
So if you were to do this and we took the proceeds, I mean, right now you kind of can't afford to put a lot of this money at risk because, in 6 months you might say, hey, I need $500,000 to buy this fixer upper. I'm going to get $1 million mortgage or something, or maybe some portion of that.
Hmm.
And then you need the other money to, like, you can't put all of the $1 million
No,
down, right?
no,
So you'd
no.
put some portion down. You'd keep at least the 500,000 probably in your back pocket to do the work along the way, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
Okay. Is your idea that you would not touch any other funds from the brokerage account, just use the proceeds to do whatever you're going to do next?
Yes,
Okay,
correct.
got it. What do you think your expenses are right now? Like, how are you living? Your new rent is how much?
$6,000 a month.
Okay. And so with that, and plus other expenses, what's what we would call your burn rate? What are you spending every month?
Probably $8,000 a
You only
month.
spend 2 grand a month? Oh, because are you
Eight, eight,
splitting? No, but I'm
eight.
saying you only on
Oh,
top of the rent. You have 6 grand
well,
in
the
rent.
rent is I'm splitting it with my partner.
Got it. So
So
you're only on the hook for three.
yes,
I got you. And so you're
yes,
spending eight total. Okay, got
yes.
it. All right, perfect. Well, that's pretty good. You don't live like high in the hog for sure.
No, no. But yeah, I enjoy my life, but I'm not too extravagant.
All right. Well, you're doing great. You're putting a lot of money away. So, what's the key issue that you are struggling with right now?
Is it smart to buy something, or am I better off just renting and having the flexibility?
Well, here's how I look at this. I think the market is going to be very odd. And it could be that if you happen to find something in your price range, it might be a pretty good idea to take advantage of that, because I'm concerned that this housing shortage is only going to get worse. And I think there's going to be a lot of people who are looking not necessarily for a fixer upper, but they're looking to like hurry up and buy something quickly and maybe they'd flip it later. So I feel like that 1.2 to 1.5 could easily become 2 million in 2 years. And
Hmm.
that's just the
Hmm.
unique nature of the LA market. Nothing is bad about renting. Okay. There really is nothing bad. It's just a question of how much your rent is. So if you're renting something at 6 grand a month, right?
Hmm.
And
Yes.
then all of a sudden you look and you say, well, 6 grand a month sounds pretty good. If our fixer upper now costs 2 million plus 2.5 million, I mean, sorry, it costs 2 million to get in and then another half or 700,000 to fix it up, because make no mistake, getting contractors, actual repairs, doing the work, it's going to get more expensive. I know this from my personal experience of dealing with Sandy here on the East Coast, where I had many friends who were rebuilding, and the price went up by, 20 to 30% for everything, just because you couldn't get builders. And the
Hmm.
builders, it wasn't like they were gouging so much. It was just like that's supply and demand. They only had so much time. So I'm considering this as, like, if you had to, let's say you had to rent for 3 years and you threw some money out the window,
Uh-huh.
that would really be kind of like the outside. I think I don't know, we'll see. I just don't know how long this is all going to take, but I do think that you're going to have a lot of stuff that comes on the market. But I think there's going to be a lot of people flooding to the market trying to say, I want to buy, I want to get in. We just don't know, like, if there's going to be net migration, meaning, is this going to be a case where a lot of the people are like, screw it, I'm out of here, and they go to Arizona or they go to Texas? Or is it going to be like you? Hey, I'm a lifelong Angelino and I'm sticking around. I'm going to rebuild. And what happens next is, we'll see. So I think in the proceeds category, we know you have at least a year before you really need anything. So right now, that money that's in cash, I might try to lock in some rate of return for at least half the money. Maybe it would be in a, I don't know, 6 month, maybe it's a 1 year treasury just to get that money invested and earning income. Because if you leave it in a money market and interest rates stay where they are, it's fine. What's the money market earning right now? 3 to 4 or something like that?
I think 4.5.
4.5 is good. That'll go down though. So I think that maybe we got to try to think about like making sure we lock in some of the money just in case rates go down. I mean, they're not going down anytime soon, but they will, I think, maybe one more time this year. And maybe be flexible and keep looking and know that a lot of this money just can't be put to work because I don't know whether or not you're going to need it. If you found something that you liked and you ran those calculators, right? And you say, okay, I'm running it, maybe even hard because what are you renting now? A 2-bedroom?
Yes.
Okay. So are we comparing apples to apples? Or are you only looking at like a 3-bedroom house?
Probably a 3-bedroom. Yeah.
Right. So it's not exactly apples to apples. But when you look at that, hey, Mark, do me a favor. Run a $1 million 30-year fixed rate mortgage for me. What's the cost on that? Whatever it is, we're going to, I presume it's going to be a lot more than your $6,000 a month, right? So that means you have a few years where renting will make sense versus buying. And it may be that you have more than a few years. I just think that it's hard for us to make the decision to go out and invest this because normally if you said, I'm never going to buy, we just put that money to work for you and say, go on, move on. Okay. But if you are preserving the right to buy, maybe we just hang out for a year. You might decide in a year from now, if like the total cost of buying and fixing that home up is, $2.5 million, or by the way, maybe your rent changes, we're going to have a different decision point in a year, I think, because we'll know. I mean, I don't know where you are, but I presume all rents are going to rise, not gouging rise, but, just going to rise. There's more people, there are going to be more renters, and that's going to put pressure on the market as well. So I don't know. I'm sort of feeling like we got a year to just kind of chill out. Let's make sure you have that money invested so that it's earning that 4.5%. That's great, whether it stays in a money market or maybe into a short-term treasury, either way. And then I think you have another decision to make in a year from now or within the next bunch of months. Hey, look, maybe you find something. Maybe you're like, oh my God, now this house is turning over. People don't want to do the work and I'm willing to do the work, and maybe you can get something. So Mark, you have any answers for me, or are you just sitting there doing nothing?
Yeah, about $6,600.
So $6,600 is principal and interest. Your homeowner's insurance is going to skyrocket in
I can't
California.
even imagine.
So,
I can't even imagine what that's going to be.
You got a long runway of being a good renter. Even if that rent went from $6,000 to $8,000 a month, it's still going to be a way better deal. Because to me, the principal interest homeowners is probably going to add like a sick amount of money. Like then you're at 8,000, and then you have to pay property taxes, which are expensive, I know, in California.
Yep.
So now you're really talking about probably somewhere around, let's just ballpark it. Let's say it's $10,000 a month. Okay. For principal, interest, homeowners, and taxes. Okay. And that gives you a long time before you really have to, think about, oh, my rent would have to go up a lot, right? To manage that. Now, it is also true that the 10 is not all yours, right? You're sharing the burden, but 6 to 10 is a big difference. So
definitely.
I think that when you're looking at a lot of these properties that you're considering, depending on where they are, I think you really have to be aware of what is my risk. By the way, I understand that Zillow has this new part of their website where they are factoring climate issues into the cost of the home and like the risk that you carry. So I think that renting might be just a fine idea for a couple of years before, and let's see how the market settles out. And if something fell in your lap, you're ready to pounce. But I wouldn't be in a huge hurry because you have a place to live. And is this an individual home, or are you living in a unit somewhere?
It's a home. It's a home. It's very comfortable. I feel very fortunate to have found it.
And these folks who are your landlords, they're decent human beings so far?
I have no idea. There's a
management company?
Individual real estate agent / property manager who seems lovely.
Okay. All right. Well, so far so good then. I feel like this is not a bad thing. I like the idea that you guys are maybe going to paper a deal between the two of you. And how much longer are you going to work? You're going to you're self-employed. How's your boss? Pain in the ass, right?
It's very difficult.
Very difficult and demanding.
I don't see any end. I don't know. I'm not, yeah.
Okay. All right.
I like having something to do. I need to fill my day somehow.
All right. Well, I think and so really I've given you no answer, which is which is basically very annoying. But I
have one more question.
Do it.
What about should I there's no way I'm going to put $1 million down on a house.
Right.
Probably 800 would be the max I would do.
Yeah.
Is it worth it to take 200 of the proceeds and put it into the market somewhere?
Well, only if you can guarantee me that the market will go up. If you can, then I'm aboard with that plan. If you can do that, I'm ready to rock and roll. Here's the risk. Let's say it's 8 months from now and something falls in your lap. Things are going to fall in people's laps. Believe me, this is times of uncertainty and basically panic breed weird opportunities. So someone in your life is going to be like, oh my God, my parents, they can't, they don't want to deal. Anyone have $1 million in cash right now to do this? Or anyone who can just move fast, and you would be moving fast and then, then starting work. Right. Yeah. And so if you need to you would need to start to access some of these funds. What if you did what if someone said, you can have a 3-bedroom house and instead of 1.5, it's 1.1, and you could just buy it in cash and figure it out later. And you might be like, I'm going to do that. But if you're in the market and the market's down, there are a lot of things that cash can do for you in terms of opportunity. And I'm not suggesting you should have cash, but it might be a situation where you could be like, I could use this. I can blow my cash. I could be fine and I could rebuild, or I can get a $500,000 loan and put, my $600,000 down and get this property that I want to get. But once you put it in the market, it could work, right? If it were if you called me in the beginning of 2024, and the market went up, 25%, you'd be like, awesome, it worked. But if it were the beginning of 2022 and it was down by 20 or 25%, you'd be pissed. So I don't know. I have no idea in the short term what's really going to happen. So I just feel like, if you were very clear after some months, if all of a sudden you're like, oh, guess what? Fixer-uppers are $3 million now. That's different than you're priced out of the market. And then you can put the money to work. But if that's not the case and there's still some possibilities for you, I don't know. I want to preserve my options.
That's good advice.
Is that, you feel like that's comfortable? I mean, as long as you feel okay with it. I know it's not exactly what you want to hear, and it's not an absolute one way or the other, but there's a lot of stuff there are a lot of moving pieces in this story, and I want to make sure that we give you as many options as possible. So hopefully, Lynn, the only thing I'm sending you off to do is make sure you get whatever documents you need to get done with this partner, and keep your eyes out and give us a holler back if you find something that crops up that changes the situation. Okay.
Great.
All right. Fantastic. Thanks for getting in touch with us. If you are sitting on a pile of cash and maybe you might need it, you can't invest it, right, gang? But if you're sitting on a pile of cash and need some help with priorities, get in touch with us. Go to JillOnMoney.com, click the Contact Us button, write us a note, and if you'd like to come on the air, check the box. Mark will do everything else. Don't forget, you can sign up for our service, Jill on Money Live, where you have access to quarterly live webinars, bonus audio and video content, and the entire back catalog, all for $45 for the next 12 months. Jill on Money Live. Subscribe to us on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And of course, lift someone up. Change your work, change your wealth, change your life. Thank you for listening. We'll talk to you tomorrow.